In fact, Mahito should have died in Season 1 and then be replaced with a far more interesting villain. Gege had so many options to utilize him in the correct way, but I guess Gege would.
Mahito is used in an excellent way. But and if you seriously watch JJK and you think that Mahito is a bad villain or that he was not used properly, bro, you need to stop watching anime, bro. Like, once again, we do not want your opinion because your opinion is dirt. Why Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 is overrated trash? I think I already watched that. Oh, maybe not. Realist 2 months ago? Alright,
Jujutsu Kaisen is one of the most overrated series in recent years, and the recent release of Season 2 only adds to the notion of how terribly mid it is. The Hidden Inventory and Shibuya arcs are both covered in Season 2, and contrary to popular belief, both arcs have a lot of problems that a lot of people seem to overlook. Now, before we get to the flaws of Season 2, I just want to point out all the things that we actually enjoyed.
So as bad JJK Season 2 is, specifically the Shibuya arc, we didn't get one of the greatest send-offs and character ends that Gege surprisingly didn't screw up, being Nanami's death. Now in JJK, we see Nanami as a mentor and a protector towards Yuji, being by his side and helping him along the way with his inner struggles and giving him much needed help with his inner conflict. A great example is when Nanami gave critical advice to Yuji when he was literally having a mental breakdown to his friend that had just died in his eyes. Also, not to forget, Nanami's introduction with his ideology being against Jujutsu High and having a distaste for their means of how they handle things. Getting into Shibuya, we see Nanami's demeanor being more aggressive and serious, which most characters completely fucking lack, nearly being almost inhumanly with their tone-deaf responses to a mass murder of countless humans. Nanami's the only one that acts in Shibuya with a level-headed mind, which builds up his inevitable death.
What? You expect the whole cast to act with a level-headed mind? Nigga, Sukuna is out here terrorizing shit. Gojo is locked up. Why are we surprised that half of the characters are not thinking with a level-headed mind? That's a crazy thing to say.
As Nanami walks along the beachside, we see his eyes close, giving us a feel of exhaustion and heavy weight and guilt of accepting that our soon-beloved character is going to leave us. As the piano begins, while we see a flash of Mahito in the picture booth, Nanami's fate draws closer and closer. Nanami engages in fighting, then we see glimpses of his peace and harmony within himself in the beach, symbolizing Nanami's inner conflict dispersing within himself. A character that was for the first time given the right hand by Gege and wasn't left unfinished, as he says to Yuji, "You take it from here," signifying the impact not only Nanami had in Yuji's life, but the impact Yuji had on Nanami to trust him with his final request, laying down on him a mantle to take over.
Watching Yuji deal with Nanami and Nobara's deaths, Sukuna taking over his body and causing a massacre, and Yuji trying to dodge the ongoing trauma by shying away from fighting, was actually depressing as hell. I mean, him curling himself up in a fetal position, signifying the regression of his state, it was just really good. But what made this scene absolutely peak was the pep talk that Todo gave to Yuji and how it was able to help develop Yuji's character. Instead of lying down, crying like a little bitch and doing nothing about it, Yuji gains the willpower to fight for the ones who died on some Erland Smith type shit. Now that we've gone over the things we've enjoyed for season 2, it's now time to destroy the living shit out of this season. So, in the Hidden Inventory arc, Geto becomes this evil dude who has gone so far to the point where he was willing to kill his own parents along with a whole bunch of villagers. Because of this incident, Gojo decides to confront Geto and ask him questions on why he did what he did. After Gojo's useless attempt at talking to Jutsu and Geto, Gojo tries to kill, or at the very least, attack Geto, in which he couldn't. Now, from an audience's perspective, we can infer that Gojo wasn't able to do it because Geto was his best friend, and it's not so easy to have yourself make a tough decision like that. But didn't Gojo have zero problems with killing Geto in JJK 0? Gojo going
Oh my goodness, I can already tell where this video is going, bro. You lost me 3 minutes into the video. So we can't develop as a character. He can't change his mind on why. That was the first time he seen Geto do something. He's had years to think about his decision of not attacking Geto, bro. You don't think he could have grew? You don't think he could have changed his mind? I don't know, bro. That's a goofy point to start off this video, bro.
from a hesitant person not being able to kill his best friend to a person who was able to actually commit by putting his emotions aside, had no shown development. His character completely switched up, and we were.
This is another thing. Like, why does we can't infer after 10 years that he had, or however long it was that he had developed, that he had changed his mind. You need a whole backstory telling you that he changed his mind on his opinion of Geto. You can't infer. You can't come to that conclusion after seeing him not attacking him to attacking him.
We weren't shown the process, nor was it explained. We went from point A to point D without seeing how the character got there. It just happened.
Yeah,
Not to mention,
it just happened over 10 years. Don't forget that there was a time skip. It wasn't like it was the next day. There was many years from point A to point B. Like, why are we forgetting that?
right before Gojo was about to get sealed by the prison realm, he knew there was something off with Geto, and that the person he was talking to wasn't him, just from the gut feeling he had. Turns out Gojo was right, and the person in front of him is someone who took control over Geto's body. As a response, Gojo tells Geto to snap out of it and pretty much tells him, dude, Geto literally murdered a whole bunch of innocent people, groomed little girls, and stayed a racist until the very end. Why are you being apologetic towards this person? I don't care. Even if he was your best friend, I don't care. You shouldn't be hyping a school shooter up. What happened to the Gojo in JJK 0 that was able to come to terms with the fact that his friend needed to face the consequences for his actions, and that he was a menace to society, someone who was too dangerous to be left alive? This man Gojo was acting inconsistent as hell, bouncing back and forth like a tennis ball, without the story ever addressing his inconsistency.
One thing I would like to touch upon, and is a recurring issue we see throughout JJK, is pointless villain of the week bullshit, such as the God and the Endless Dude at the start of Hidden Inventory, and the guy that came back to life somehow and has a hand sword but was never really used in an interesting way. Nor was he a threat other than Nobra.
Bro, and what are we talking about, bro? What are we talking about? Are we serious? You have a problem with there being like sub villains to keep for the show? Will niggas not get tired if it's the same 4 villains that keep popping up? We can't get fodder villains. Like, what are we talking about? In the Shibuya incident, it would make no sense not to have fodder villains. Without these villains, the story literally does not make sense. Like, what? Like, I'm not gonna lie, y'all be chatting sometimes. Y'all are losing me.
Another forgettable character. This takes away from the seriousness and ruins the pacing of the show. Talking about pacing, do you guys remember the start of Hidden Inventory arc with Urahana and Meimei? Well, that first episode was complete filler and was only there to hit the 5-episode mark for Hidden Inventory. I seriously do not understand what the point of that whole scene was, where it was mostly no action and pointless dialogue. It's almost like they're telling us to quit on the first episode.
The entire main goal for the Hidden Inventory arc was for Gojo and Geto to set out on a mission to find Riko, who is known for being the Star Plasma vessel, chosen to be the vessel for Tengen's merger. It's important for them to find this girl and take her to Tengen because Tengen is supposed to be this character who protects the barriers of Jujutsu society, and if Tengen doesn't merge with a vessel, he's gonna evolve into something ugly. Now, unfortunately, Riko gets killed by Toji. Oh shit. Now that the Star Plasma vessel is dead, what's gonna happen with the Tengen? Bro, are you fucking kidding me? This whole time you're telling me there was another vessel for Tengen's merger? There was supposed to be a consequence for Tengen not merging with the vessel, and just like that, the story completely pulls the rug and tells the audience that they literally had nothing to worry about in regards to its evolution because there
this is what you're paying attention, but you're not. Any person with a brain knows that this whole plot had no one. It's not for the plasma vessel, man. That was just a story that he used to convey what he wanted to convey. This is about Gojo and Geto. Like, no, like the star plasma vessel, it's not meant to be important, bro. It's all for the Gojo and Geto setup. That's what it's for. It's not the main thing that we're supposed to pay attention to. So you looking at this and finding a flaw in it, it's like, bro, you're just looking for things to nitpick, bro.
there was going to be another vessel born or another vessel that existed after Rico died. So one of the main problems I've had with JJK Season 2 is the frequent usage of resurrection. Like Mekamaru, for example. Now, I understand that Mekamaru technically wasn't resurrected because of curse technique shenanigans, but come the fuck on. The dude was conscious enough to be able to have full-fledged conversations with the Kyoto students.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Is this guy not paying attention to the story? It's like, I hate when I watch stuff like this, and it's like, you use points, but then the next point you use literally makes no sense. Like, if you were paying attention, it is perfectly explained with his ability or what he's doing, bruh. It was perfectly explained. I don't see how you...
Help give the Jujutsu sorcerers information about Gojo, help Yuji fight Chozo. I mean, you might as well consider it resurrection. If Mekamaru is able to come back to quote-unquote life, what was the whole point of his death? Mekamaru having the ability to come back to life as a walkie-talkie literally came out of nowhere. His only purpose in the story for Shibuya was to give out exposition. He became a literal plot device so that the characters don't look stupid as hell. Because of Mekamaru's return, the next time when a character dies, I'm not going to be able to feel that same level of closure, because all I'm going to think is, maybe there will be some unknown technique that was never established earlier in the story that will be able to bring this character back in action. This pretty much removes the stakes of future fights and makes future...
How did Mekamaru coming back remove any type of stakes? What are you talking about, bro? You are literally yapping. He's not resurrected. He's literally giving them information because he foreseen what happened to him. He knew what he was doing. He knew that what he was doing was going to get him killed, and he needed to relay the information to the other side. So what does he do? He sets up a precursor that says if he dies, this is what's going to happen with his curse ability. Like, I hate that everything to some of you anime niggas, you need to see it before it happens. Why do you need to see him explaining his ability before it happens for you to be able to come to terms with it? Like, come on, bro. And then when they do that, y'all complain about it. Like, there's no winning with some of you anime niggas. There's no winning. Like, there's no winning.
The events feel contrived when characters actually do die, because then you're gonna be thinking, oh well, I guess this character didn't have any insurance up his sleeve like how Mekamaru did. I guess some fights are gonna have stakes, but not this one. It just makes the story feel sloppy. See, now, I can just think, okay, one character was resurrected, the story feels pretty sloppy, but, you know, I'm gonna just let it slide this one time.
Look, explain this to me, please. This is what I want you to do before you change the point. How does Toji Resurrection change any of the stakes in JJK? If anything, they make the stakes higher because we don't know what the fuck he's doing. We don't know if he's about to attack the good guys. We literally don't know what he's doing. So if anything, this literally crushes your goddamn point. Toji being resurrected makes the stakes higher. In the whole series, it makes the stakes higher because we don't know what he's about to do. And if you don't think he makes the stakes higher, you lost your mind. There's no way you seen Toji get resurrected and you thought in your head, oh, the stakes are lower, bruh. There's no worry. Toji's here to save the day. You did not know Toji was going to do what he did, bruh. You did not know that.
Oh. So in episode 11, we're showing two characters, this one old-ass grandma and her grandson. Apparently the grandma has the ability to summon Toji by using her grandson as the vessel. So I guess now there's multiple ways in which a character can be brought back into the story, and we don't even know how many more ways Gege, could think of by pulling them straight out of his ass. A lot of people think this fight is really good, and from an entertainment perspective, I can totally see why this fight is enjoyable to watch, but if you were to sit down for a moment and just think, you'll realize how the writing of this fight is really forced and fan servicey. Because of the events leading up to his summoning by the old lady and the grandson, the Toji that was fighting Megumi was acting purely on instinct, seeking the strongest opponent he could find within his vicinity. Toji eventually stops himself when he looks at Megumi's face and realizes that he might have been fighting his son this whole entire time, and decides to kill himself so that he could avoid killing his own son out of instinct. Now, this is cool and all, but the motherfucker was fighting Megumi and had a good look at his face for a solid 5 minutes. It's not like Megumi was wearing a ski mask this whole time and his mask fell off at the last second, making Toji.
I don't get how people sit down and make these nitpicky videos. Like, this blows me. This literally blows me. Like, you want him to see Megumi for the first 2 seconds and do what he did? Like, of course there's gonna be a fight. It's anime, bro. Like, of course we're gonna get some fan servicey fight. You're complaining over nothing right now. That's what you're doing. You're complaining over literally nothing, bro.
Toji realized who he was fighting. I mean, you're telling me he doesn't see him here? He doesn't see him here? He doesn't see him here? You literally can't even use the argument that Toji wasn't able to realize he was fighting his son because he wasn't able to get a good close-up. I mean, I literally just showed you clips of this dude looking right at his son. He's literally having a whole ass stare down right here. You know, the level of contrivance of this fight is so bad that it's led to some JJK gaggers to make theories about how Toji had Alzheimer's or some sort of mental illness in order to defend the writing. Which, I mean, to be fair, I guess the only explanation for Toji's behavior is that the dude has a disease. Now, obviously, I think all of us can agree that's not the intent behind Toji's character, but I've also heard arguments saying maybe Toji didn't immediately recognize his son because, you know, he hasn't seen him in over a decade. Okay, first of all, realistically speaking, who the hell beats the living shit out of someone in a fight and out of nowhere goes, wait, hold up, yo, I think I know you. Second, I think the best way for the fight to not feel forced is to give us a better understanding of Toji's mental state and to hint that there is something about Megumi that Toji is subconsciously aware of but isn't quite sure what it is.
To make a character truly irredeemable is to put them into a position of no going back. And I don't mean killing an anime character, committing a terrible act in the series, none of that. But what makes a character truly irredeemable and disgusting is making them commit that act of pedophilia. Now let me dive deeper into this. Not only did Mamie do this, but she did it to a literal fucking toddler. Mamie teased her own fucking brother while they were naked in a bed, to then pull away and fucking toy with him. Now, that alone is bad. I really wish Gege would have at least have half a brain cell to understand the severity of this, but I guess not, and he decided to keep it in. Now, what I want to present to you is the people that defend this act and generally thought there was nothing wrong with this.
Please let me join!
Bro, you niggas are too deep in. It gets to a point where some of you niggas are just trying your best to just criticize something that doesn't need to be criticized. It's like we're literally pulling all our strings to try to badmouth JJK in this video. Like you're literally trying your hardest, bro. And it's sad to see. It really is. It's sad to watch people do this, bro. Like it really is.
No, I love it.
As you can see here, these people don't give a fuck about what atrocious acts a character does as long as they're hot.
I mean, I think it's crazy that you're looked at a certain way for not caring what's going on in a fictional story. I think it's crazy that since you as a person can divide the line of fiction and reality, you're the weird one. But the people that have blurred lines are the people that are on a moral high horse. Like, it, if it's unnecessary, like, it's anime, bro. Half of the stuff in anime is unnecessary. That's literally generally anime, bro. Half of anime is unnecessary. Like, we know what we're signing up for when we watch it. But I just don't like the fact that people do this. This is the thing that kills me. Like, you know what you're watching, bro. You know what anime is. And maybe this threw some people off because this was their first introduction. No, you're good, Karma. But maybe this was threw some people off because it was their first introduction to anime. And, like, they're not used to stuff like this. But, like, if you're an anime fan, this is nothing new, bro. Like, it is what it is.
Because
bro.
they can't help themselves from thirsting over a 2D drawing. On the other hand, you have people who generally defend this scene, saying it supports the themes of JJK on how the selfish get what they want and how the selfless people.
You know what? Defend this, bro. What I want you to do is attack my point. What is wrong? Like, the thing that I have with any type of thing when we talk about nonfiction is that it's not real. I mean, fiction is that it's not real, bruh. Like, I feel like it's crazy that you get looked at as a weirdo for being able to separate what's real and what's fake. I'm supposed to feel disgusted by something that's not real. Like that, by that logic, I should feel disgusted every time someone gets killed on the screen or watching anime. I should feel personally harmed every time someone gets killed or every time someone is wronged in anime. It's like, it is okay to separate the line of fake and real. Like, I feel like it's more weird not being able to separate that.
Like Nanami get the short end of the stick. Why the fuck would you have such a terrible message to your readers? Like, it came from a 14-year-old edgelord who thinks we live in a society. The scene where Gojo tells Megami to be more selfish was actually a good scene that contributed to the theme that Mei and Nanami's parallel was trying to tell in storytelling. When characters get to do whatever they want without any consequences, it makes the story sloppy and loses some sense of cause and effect. All I'm saying is if Mei doesn't face severe consequences for her actions, her character is pure dog shit.
How does that make the show bad? That just shows you that the type of sorcerers there are. There's a sorcerer that only cares about herself. She's selfish. That is literally realistic. If you're in that situation, someone is pulling a Mei. This is a realistic, like, approach on a character, man. Yes, she could be a shit character, but how does that affect the show? You're losing me, man. The fact that y'all are tag teaming this and are still awful is astonishing to me.
Nobra. Where do I start? Where do I start to talk about this dog shit of a character? Now, Nobra isn't just dog shit. She's textbook definition of one-dimensional. The only thing Nobra's death accomplished was making me feel complete happiness to know we won't get or have a dog shit character like that in JJK's story. But let me back up and explain why. Now, when we see Nobra, she is nothing but a complete arsehole and a piece of shit to Yuji for no good reason. JJK isn't a tsundere simulator. We don't need characters that act as their only use being to tear down our MC or...
Bro, this, like, I swear I'm gonna say this a million times in my life as a creator on YouTube. This is realistic. There are people like this in the world. It is okay not to like her, but why does that ruin the show because she's that type of character? This is a realistic character. You want everything to be sunshines and rainbows? Like, that's not realistic. In a world like JJK, Noboru's character is perfectly fine. This, like, I don't see how you could look at this and think it's a bad thing.
Tear down anyone
it's okay
that
to
excels
dislike
further
it.
than them, aka being Maki's whole persona, as we see with Yuta in JJK 0. You see, there is fucking nothing to talk about her character other than her being a complete ass to Yuji. With that being said, Nobra's death does anything but conclude her character. They give us one of the most pointless backstories that did nothing to impact the story at all, nor did it do anything For her character, it was a basic run-of-the-mill story, which I thought season 1 did an already okay job on. All it really did was, I guess, somewhat motivate Yuji to fight Mahito, but then that assumption got completely fucking destroyed when Yuji refers to Nanami and making only Nanami proud by killing Mahito, which is a complete slap into the face of all Nobara fans. And how can I forget the people on Twitter that would glaze the hell out of JJK's female cast being so great and so universal? People would refer to JJK's female cast as the best representation, when it's just the same character but different shade of hair color with the same personality. Now, remember how we talked about Nanami's death being a staple of the show and how they greatly impacted JJK and Yuji storytelling wise? Now let's make all these trials and tribulations that Yuji has been through and climbed through, the hours and hours of character development, his overwhelming breaking point to understanding that Mahito and himself are the same, and the amazing speech that Yuji gives signifying how far he has come. And now let's make that all for nothing. Now, something that made me have a complete distaste and dislike for JJK when I found this out is Mahito's death. And what I mean by that was how he was killed. Throughout season 1, we see Mahito as a threat and an uncontrollable monster that no one could stop. He had been mass murdering and serving under Kenjaku for a while now and was built up to fight Yuji. That was his whole character, as they represent two different outlooks on life. Mahito being from negative human emotions, and Yuji holds the weight of his friends and people that have fallen, and wants to carry their wishes that were placed upon him, such as Nanami, and we see that with Tojo and Yuji, like we had explained earlier. And now, with everything built up, setting, and then we have this motherfucker Genjaku stood there, and what does Gege do? He takes countless chapters worth of struggles our character goes through, and Genjaku eats him. Gege, what were you thinking? Why would you do that? What was the point of Yuji's speech?
So we're just not watching. We're just not watching the anime, bro. Yeah, I'm like, sometimes I'm really at loss, bro. If Mahito stays in the story, then all I'm gonna hear about is complaining about how this character keeps getting away. That we have another villain that just stays in the show and that they never die. That's what people will be complaining about. But now when he dies, it's a problem too. All the character progression Yuji went through, it's all for nothing. It literally makes no goddamn sense. But, bro, bro.
Worthless. In fact, Mahito should have died in season 1 and then be replaced with a far more interesting villain. Gege had so many options to utilize him in the correct way, but I guess Gege would.
Mahito is used in an excellent way, bro. And if you seriously watch JJK and you think that Mahito is a bad villain or that he was not used properly, bro, you need to stop watching anime, bro. Like, once again, we do not want your opinion, because your opinion is dirt. It's dirt. There's no way you can sit here and watch Mahito in season 1 and season 2 and then see his conclusion and think that it was bad and think that Gege did it wrong. You are confused.
Have it where everything that Yuji and Mahito led to was for nothing. Oh well, this is a common trait from Gege, I guess. What can we really do about it? Within most anime,
we're complaining about the
usage
music.
of music to create an atmosphere with different emotions is very key to engage the viewer and also
this is
connect
just a
them
clickbait
further
video.
with the character
That's all
displayed.
this is.
An anime that utilizes this perfectly would be Monster.
Dr. Tenma あなただけに聞い
Two
てほ
different
しいことが
completely shows, but Cook, bro.
あの時あの怪物が僕の前に現れた
Monster uses its OST perfectly to capture the emotions and feelings the characters go through, such as Tenma and Johan's final standoff, as we hear the music slowly creep in as it builds the scene and atmosphere around them, almost reeling the viewer in, their hearts pounding and being engaged completely. Now, everything I just said there, now I want you all to completely fucking scrap that because we have You Are My Special at the vital and crucial point to Yuji's character development and growth, where his state of mind is completely changed. Yes, let's put the main opening to fill the viewer with deep sadness and emotion, where Yuji has a mental breakdown. Wow, I feel so sad for him. My deep sadness brews. Yeah, I can't underestimate how fucking stupid of a choice this is. We know Mappa are able to deliver us with heartfelt emotional scenes. Take, for instance, Toji's backstory and him being happy to know Megami's name. Now, Mappa, what did you smoke to think this was a good decision? This just completely takes away from what could have been one of JJK's best moments, and Mappa really did just have to fuck it up. Last thing I want to touch on, since this is one of the last things we see for season 2, is how is Rika back? I thought she disappeared at the end of JJK 0. Now people are probably going to explain how it is something to do with curse technique BS. The point is, why the hell would you create such an emotional scene for the audience, manufacture feelings of loss just to say you were sad for Rika in JJK 0? You're an idiot.
Woo! Why am I not surprised? Why am I not surprised, man? Why am I not surprised, man? Hey. You cooked with that one. You cooked with that one, sir. You cooked with that one.